Hello there, and welcome to the Outside Film Podcast, where we talk the latest in blockbuster film and TV. This week, we're talking about Shazam. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host John. How are you this week? I had to shout that; it just
You have
felt
to
right.
shout that. Wow,
It
that's
felt
that's some
right.
dedication right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Yeah, I've just watched a lot of films this week. How about you?
Same. Doing
Whoa.
good. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Shazam today. We are preparing for Fury of the Gods, which we're going to cover in a couple of weeks. So let's begin. Briefly explain the plot for those who don't know.
Okay, Google, please, please don't.
Come on, Google.
Okay. Bestowed with powers of the gods, Billy Batson and his fellow foster kids are still learning how to juggle teenage life with their. No, wait, that's. Why are you giving me the sequel? Oh my god. I
No.
typed in Shazam movie and it just decided to go to the sequel. No, you so no. Okay, no, let's start over again. After being abandoned at a fair, Billy constantly searches for his mother. His life, however, takes a huge turn when he inherits superpowers from a powerful wizard.
Okay, nice. So, full spoilers ahead. So, if you haven't seen Shazam and you want to, probably worth checking that out before you continue. I want to start and just kind of say it feels
Yeah.
like this film was kind of forgotten about when it came out because it came out a couple weeks before Endgame and then was completely
Oh yeah.
buried by Endgame. You can't really expect a single comic book movie about a lesser known character to stand out against, the literal climax of the Infinity Saga. But having said that, I think this film's really cool. What did you
Yeah.
think?
I agree. This is a really solid film. I watched Marcel the Shell.
Nice.
What a wholesome film. And then I went to watch Shazam. Like you gave me the Blu-ray. I was like, yes, more wholesome. We finally got some more wholesome. I was like, this is a good day. But yeah, this is a solid film. I was thoroughly enjoying it because I forgot a lot about the film. And you're right. There was a time where it was like a mass hysteria, like, oh my God, Endgame, best film of the century. Oh my God. And then, yeah, and that was me, but I changed. Or have I? Anyway, never mind.
We'll see.
Um,
I bet one day we'll do Endgame for the podcast, and then that'll separate the men from the boys right there.
yeah, and I love this film.
Yeah, it's such a delight. It is just so cool. Like, it reminded me of early 2000s comic book films. You're kind
Oh
of
yeah.
like your X-Men, your Spider-Man, your Fantastic Four. It just gave me those like pure vibes of just laying all its cards out on the table and just telling this really good story, this really, as you say, wholesome story, and something that wears its heart on its sleeve, which I think is the best thing that any movie can do, really, is to just be unafraid to really go for its themes in a really, really nice way. Obviously, not that there's anything wrong with subtlety. I do love subtlety, but this movie, it's very obviously about family and growing up, and it executes that really, really well. I knew you were going to make a Fast and Furious reference. I heard it. I heard it.
I
God
mean, they do
damn.
make a Fast and Furious joke in the trailer.
Yes, they do for the sequel. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I really liked that there was a strong theme and
Mm.
also you get to explore a lot about the characters. And it was kind of refreshing to see an antagonist. I mean, after watching Ant-Man for the past few weeks,
Oh
there
no.
was no main motivation for the antagonist. Like, yes, I would like to be small and take over the world, and something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, John, you're reading straight off the script there.
Oh no. But anyway, I really liked Mark Strong's performance as Savannah. Savannah? Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with
He's
the names today. Yes, Savannah. Yeah,
he
I thought he was really strong with it. But I kind of wish there was more exploration, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty strong in the film.
Yeah, I think that as soon as you cast Mark Strong, you've won. Mark Strong is fantastic. It's a real shame because, this is a second DC movie. It's a real shame that we're never going to see, well, presumably we'll never see him as Sinestro ever again because he was fantastic in that role, even though the 2011 Green Lantern film is not very good. But he's great, whether it be this or Kick-Ass
He
or
was.
Kingsman, or even times when he makes unexpected appearances, like in 1917 or recently in Tar. Mark Strong is fantastic. I love him. I could watch him all
Oh,
day.
he's in Tar.
And he's in
Oh,
Tar. Yeah. I would agree with you that he doesn't get as much play as he deserves. However, I do love that his character is basically just the polar opposite of Billy. Billy
Yeah,
finds his strength in his family, and his arc is learning to embrace a new family, a found family, and learning that just because his old family abandoned him and because he is alone, that doesn't necessarily mean that he can't have a family. And that's the predominant theme of the movie. Whereas Savannah, on the other hand, he carries so much hate and resent for his family. And I love that we open with Savannah
okay.
as a kid in the car when they have the crash, which is
Yeah.
just such a good scene. Using the Christmas music while they crash in slow motion, excellent sequence. And
Yes.
I love the fact that they constantly throughout the movie they use Savannah's lack of family and lack of love in his life as the thing that drives him towards these seven deadly sins, whereas Billy becomes stronger through embracing his family.
Yeah, and I really like that. That was a really strong, prominent feature in the film where you get to see Billy embracing the other family members. And I thought that was just really wholesome. There was a great scene that I really liked when Billy realized what the wizard was talking about, like, your brothers and sisters will be on the throne. And then he gets all his brothers and sisters together and have the powers. And I thought that was pretty cool. They have the powers and then they fight together. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Say my name, Billy. No, 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 not my name.
No,
The name
no.
that I say. That yeah, brilliant.
Oh,
I
the
think that that
humor.
is so. Oh,
Oh,
it's so funny. It's such a
it's so
charming
funny.
movie.
There's a funny scene when Billy and Betty were in the shop and they were trying to buy beer. Hello, madam.
Yes.
Do you have the finest beer
I
around?
would
And
like
that
some of
was
your
great.
finest. And then he walks off, and Freddy's just there, just standing behind him. Oh, there are.
Oh,
I
it was
think
so funny. Why doesn't anyone talk about it? It was so
I
funny.
know it's brilliant. I think especially like that second act where you have Billy and Freddy like learning his powers. It's just so funny. Like when Freddy sets Billy on fire secretly, and then Billy's like chasing after him. I just think it's brilliant, and it's a great way to strengthen these
Yeah.
two characters and make their bond and their eventual like arguments. It makes it really strong. I think it really works, and there's a great ongoing gag because obviously they don't know what to call the hero because in the comics it's Captain Marvel, but then that's confusing. We're just calling him Shazam but then he can't say Shazam. So what do they call him? And there's a great bit where he goes up to this person getting robbed, and obviously they're actually not in danger, and they're like, "Who are you?" And Freddy comes in, he's like, "His name is Thundercrack," and he's like, "What? No." And there's just so many great like recurring
Oh, that's
things of like,
that's
what's his
great.
name, and it's just funny.
There was a reference when they were uploading YouTube videos, and one of them said Red Cyclone, and Red Cyclone is a character in DC. Yeah, he's important in Metal Dark
Wait, are
Knight
you talking about
Metal.
Red Tornado?
I'm sorry. It sounded so familiar. Red Cyclone, Red Tornado.
I mean,
But yeah,
there's
yeah.
definitely some really funny comedy throughout. There are some bits that don't age very well. Like there's a moment where he's flossing. It's
Oh God,
only
yeah.
been it's only been 4 years, and it wasn't funny. Do you remember when Endgame came out and everyone was like, haha, they're not going to be playing Fortnite in 2023. It's now 2023, and
And Fortnite is still popular. But not gonna lie,
whoops.
the skins in Fortnite do look cool.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, if I was to say something good about Fortnite, those skins, especially like some of the superhero skins, really, really cool.
Yeah. Did you see the new Captain American one?
Oh, I did. It's really
Oh,
sweet.
and
Really,
Daredevil?
really
Oh,
cool. Oh, the
oh.
Daredevil one. Oh, man. Oh, actually, that's a good way to transition. What do we think about the suits in this movie? So,
Oh,
ages
they're
ago, we did a
fire.
video
They are fire.
about. They really are, aren't they? We did a video about best comic book costumes. I can't remember if Shazam came up, but my God, the suits in this movie are so fantastic.
Ah, yeah, they just look so vibrant. They just match exactly to Billy's characteristics, and
Hmm.
it's a fun, wholesome film. And I thought that was a great way to show that throughout the film. And it's just so funny because he's just like, I don't know what's this strike thing, and I thought it's just pretty cool to have that suit. And then later on, you get to see the family members wearing the suits, and you have different colors, which is so cool, so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all works really, really well. The color and the textures, and that it's not over designed. They've changed the suits in the sequel, and I don't know how that's going to go
Wait,
because
what?
yeah,
Oh,
I'm a
yeah,
little
they
bit.
did.
I don't know how I feel, but we'll see, we'll see. But the suits in this one are so fantastic, and
Yeah,
like it's just
love it.
it's embracing the. I think this era of DC after Justice League when we had Aquaman and Shazam and then like coming into the Suicide Squad and Black Adam and Wonder Woman 84, they embraced comic book costumes and their colors, the things that the early superhero films were scared to adapt. X-Men doing like black leather because they wouldn't do the yellow costumes, the yellow spandex. I love that these films just go for it, and it looks so cool. It really does.
It's so cool. I don't know why this film's not more talked about because it was just a fun film, and I thought it just experimented a lot of different ways. Because I know this is from the comics, but it made a lot of references to the film Big with Tom
Yeah,
Hanks.
yeah. There's a
Yeah,
moment where he goes on like a piano in a toy store, and
yeah.
I was genuinely thinking they were going to start playing Heart and Soul. No, but yeah, it does. It does. I love seeing this childlike perspective. Like, it's not something that you get to see a whole lot in comic book films. Like, I guess the closest you get is Peter Parker, maybe, but a lot of the time, we're not seeing the little kid's perspective. Like, literally, like, you've got Darla in the film who's like, what, like 7 or something? And she is the cutest thing. She is so sweet, and she's got this whole thing of like she wants to be a good sister, and she's like, and she finds out about Billy early on,
Oh,
and there's this moment where all the other kids find out, and she goes, "Yay, you figured it out! I didn't say anything. I'm a good sister." And it's like the
wholesome.
yeah, it's so wholesome, and they really, really build the characters so well. The family, there's a lot of them, and they don't all get a whole lot to do, in terms of character arcs. We don't get to see Billy with them as much as we do with Freddy. Maybe we could have seen a bit more of that in that whole montage where they're testing out the powers, but their presence through their performances and through the small time that we get with them is so good that when you get that moment at the end when they all become superheroes, it's amazing. And the casting from the young kids to the adult versions of them is fantastic.
On point, yeah. They really matched that characteristics from them. Like Freddy, he was like, this is the first villain, and it just completely matched that from a kid to an adult, and they have that childlike characteristic. So yeah, on point with that with the adult casting, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think as funny as this film is and as likable as the characters are, it really, really sells the emotional moments as well. Like
Oh
one of the
yeah.
most gut-wrenching scenes is when
Oh
Billy finds his
no.
mum eventually, and he comes to her and he's like, "I found my way home." And she's like, "No, this we can't, like, this is like, are you doing good? Cool, but goodbye." And she basically just like doesn't want anything to do with him. And we find out that she basically abandoned him. She didn't just find him. And even when he gives her the compass, the last thing that she ever gave to him, this symbol of reconnection and finding his way home, she's like, "What's this?" And it's like, oh, such a gut punch.
Oh man, I was so sad. I was like, no, no, why you gotta do this? Yeah, I thought that was a great way to explore the other aspects of family, like how Savannah was feeling at a time when nobody wanted to help him, and then there was the idea of like what Savannah's father said about like being a man, like you gotta take it for yourself. And then there's the other aspect of family, like when Billy got lost and he was abandoned, and you can see that two sides, and it was a great emotional standpoint from the film. You can see different perspectives, and it was just gut wrenching. It's emotional.
It really is. And I think that that's a good point because you see what Savannah is, the resentment that he gets from his family becomes the thing that leads him to sin and to opening himself up to all these dark things. And they literally have the 7 deadly sins as a physical representation of that. They don't do a whole lot other than stand there and look scary. They're not the most interesting things to fight, but they are a representation of the worst that can come from lack of family, as we're saying. And I love that moment at the end when they have the orb and Billy's like, "What's that? You can give me power? I should kill all my friends." He's like, "No, I'm not going to do that, obviously." That was stupid. It's brilliant. It really is
Yeah.
really cool the way that they explore that with these physical manifestations.
Yeah, and I thought that it was a good motivation from the beginning when Savannah was completely obsessed finding the power at the orb, doing researching about the master stereo. He's completely obsessed, and then he finds the door, and it was a great motivation for that. But I wish that we could have seen more of it because I wish there was a conflict between the 7 deadly sins. Like you could be having conflict, finding his morals, but he's still a villain. You can make it more 3 dimensional, but yeah, I thought it was just pretty strong for motivation.
Pretty Mark Strong. Oh, good. No, yeah, I
Funny.
agree. Like he says when he releases the sins, he says, "Oh, I realized I'm not pure of heart," and I'm like, "Well, okay, that makes sense." But at this point, they're ripping people's heads off and brutally murdering people, and we could explore more about whether Savannah feels about that, or whether perhaps the sins are completely corrupted him. I agree. There's definitely more to do with Savannah, and I think that's definitely something that they could have gone into a little bit more because some of these scenes are really dark. Oh my God. Like
Yeah.
at the boardroom when he confronts his father and all the board members, the sins are like biting off people's heads. And like you can totally tell that David F. Sandberg, the director, like a lot of superhero movie directors, has come from horror and knows how to make an atmosphere. And that's why a lot of these
Uh,
directors come from horror because atmosphere is so important with that. And that's why they
mhm.
work so well. And in this, you've got those really, really scary moments.
It was just so scary. Like when the receptionist was hearing what's going on like that, and then there was a jump scare. I didn't get scared. No, no, I didn't.
You
I didn't.
sound like
I
you
didn't.
were. Oh, I didn't get scared. I'm brave. You were
No,
screaming.
I just want to make
Admit
that.
it.
No, no. I'm brave. I'm brave.
The
Yes.
wizard. The wizard would choose you as his champion.
Oh, yeah, and then all the employees or the board members just get onto the glass, and it's just so scary. They're just getting attacked by the seven deadly sins, and yeah, it was so scary. And then the father is just completely helpless. It's like help, and then Mark Strong is like being evil. I forgot most of the lines in that, but it
No,
was a
yeah,
great
but
atmosphere.
it literally eats him, the dad, and I think that's quite fun because I've just watched this past year. I just watched all 10 seasons of Smallville, and John Glover, who plays Savannah's dad, plays Lionel Luthor, Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville. So it's really funny to see him in another DC movie playing another resentful father. Like brilliant. I love that kind of thing. There's a lot of
Yeah.
that even in this movie. Djimon Hounsou, who, if you listen to our Kingsman video way back, you know that I stand Djimon Hounsou. I'm happy that he was in Black Adam. I'm happy he's coming back Fury of the Gods. The man deserves so much more than he's ever given. But he plays the wizard, and he was also in Aquaman as one of the fish people. So they're just, I love it when comic book things have actors that cross over.
Yeah, that was really cool. This whole film was just so much fun to watch. I think the score was pretty good as well. I really like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it lifted things up well enough. I wish that there was a more hummable theme, if that makes sense. Like there are
A
some really
hummable theme.
big,
Ah, yes.
yeah,
I
like
must
like
listen to
I
this.
I want to be able to like hum the theme. I want to be able to like remember it. Like when you
Mm,
have like in like when
mm,
you have like
mm.
impactful moments, like there are really like again the direction in some of the scenes, like after Billy is at his lowest point and he finds out about his mum, he gets a call from Savannah being like, I have your family. And he realizes this is my real family. I need to protect them. And it's one of the best shots and one of the best scenes in many comic book movies. And he goes out onto the roof and he runs off the roof and he jumps off and he yells Shazam and then he flies away. And that is such an impactful moment that is lifted by the score. I loved that scene so much.
Yeah, and then goes back to his house, and it was just a great character development for that. Yeah, yeah. The score just greatly helped that.
And there is one moment that the score definitely does something interesting. The final moment of the film, when Superman shows up, they of course play the John Williams Superman theme, and we have the now iconic headless Superman. And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I love this scene, and I actually love that there's no face. Like genuinely, I think it really, really works
Oh yeah, with Henry. No, I was about to say Henry Cavill.
with not Henry Cavill.
I was about to say it because yeah, you didn't see the face, but then it just completely cuts to the credits. Yeah, that just worked so well. I thought that was really funny because with or without Henry Cavill, or you don't get to see the face, I thought it was just so funny that you know that Superman, and he's like,
Mm,
I invited a friend, and then Superman just comes around.
yeah.
Yes,
It,
yes.
it works so well because the symbol is the thing that kids look up to, and I love that that's this nice moment at the end because obviously Freddie had promised everyone, and Freddie's always getting bullied, and he's always like really like downtrodden, and he wants someone to people to look at him and appreciate him, and Shazam at the end being like this guy taught me everything I know about being a super, and it's so nice. And then earlier in the film, the bullies say, "Oh, is Superman coming for dessert?" And then he does come at the end, and it's brilliant. It's so good because that's just like being a superhero. So much about it in universe and in our world is about inspiring people, inspiring kids
Mm,
especially. And so you see that in that final moment, and it's just so good. It's
yeah.
it's a shame that we are basically going to be rebooting the DCEU because there are opportunities to do stuff. And obviously you'll be able to do this with the DCU once we move forward. But in this movie, we were seeing the influence of heroes. We were seeing, Freddy has the Batarang and he has loads of references in his room, and Superman is an established part of the universe. And there's a moment where the kid's playing with two action figures, and then like there's an action going on outside. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and there's a lot of inspiration, yeah, definitely, throughout this film. I thought that was just pretty strong. I keep saying strong because it's Mark Strong. God damn it.
Just Mark Strong.
Mark Strong. But yeah, I have nothing else to say about Shazam other than it's just a really fun film, and there's a lot of lessons to be taught. And I mean, there's a great references to like Rocky because it was filmed in Philadelphia, and then it was also
Yes.
filmed on the steps. That was great. I'm excited for Creed 3, by the way.
That's
Very excited.
that's next week. That's next
Yes.
week. So
Ooh,
exciting.
so
Yeah, I
excited.
agree. Shazam was so great. And hey, it's produced by Peter Safran, who, along with James Gunn, is heading the DCU. So I think that's a really good sign. If all
Oh,
the
hell
DCU movies are like this, in quality, obviously I want the tone to go different places and be dark and be light. But if the quality is like this, then hell yeah, I'm there. I thought this was just so wonderful.
yeah, such a wonderful DC film, and it should be more talked about because this is a really fun film. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And I hope that Fury of the Gods is good. What do you think about? I don't know why I started like that. What are you giving it out of 10? What do you think about the rating of this film, John?
What do I think about the rating? I'm gonna say 8 out of 10.
I agree. 8 out of 10. Loved it.
Fun,
Absolutely loved
fun
it.
film. I might
How
rewatch it
how
every year.
every single year.
Every single year.
Oh, God damn. Every year I'm sitting there sweating and you knock on my door and you're like, give me the Blu-ray, Tom. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Just like knocking, like, give me the film. Give me the film right now.
You're
I
like
need to see
you're
it
like
now.
you're like when Freddy's doing the washing up and Billy's like, "Don't scream." You're like, "Give me the Blu-ray," and I'm like, "Oh."
That's funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a great
What about
film.
you? Oh, you did give it a 8 out
I
of 10.
gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's a great like refresher from something just fell behind me. I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but something
I thought
fell
it was
else.
my house.
No, somewhere
I thought it was
elsewhere in my
like,
house.
who fell? Who fell? No,
Father.
father.
No, I think this is a really good like break from doing Ant-Man last week,
Oh
talking
yeah,
about something that stands on its own. And obviously we're getting a sequel, but I think this is such a perfect little story. And
yeah.
it has so much more charm and is so
So
much more
refreshing.
tangible than I feel Ant-Man is. But there we go. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can follow us and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, oh boy, I feel like we've mentioned Creed 3 every single week.
Oh my
And
god,
next week we're doing it. I'm so excited.
I'm
Apparently
so
it's
excited.
great.
I heard a lot of
Oh,
reviews.
yes, me
Oh,
too.
oh,
I'm
oh.
hearing good stuff.
Yeah, and especially this is gonna be like anime like style. Like they're gonna
Yeah, the
go
action
from
scenes. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so excited. It's gonna be great, and the chemistry between Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan, like it's so good. Like you can see that, like in the
Yeah.
interviews, like they're so passionate about it. Like hell yeah,
I'm
this
so
is what.
excited to see what Jonathan Majors is like as a villain as well, because the Rocky franchise and the Creed franchise, the villains have been up and down.
Oh yeah,
I believe that he's going to be one of the best if
oh
he's
yeah,
given the right material. So oh, that's exciting. So yeah,
yeah.
tune in then. That's going to be great. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And you can send us an email, tell us your thoughts on Shazam about the DCEU and that kind of period of like when this movie was coming out, and about the DCU. Do you want to see any of these characters come back? Like, are you excited for Fury of the Gods? Tell us that. We'll reply right here on the podcast. And that's everything.
Yes, hopefully. It was funny when Zachary Levi, it was like, hopefully I'm still in the DCU, and then he was hanging out with Peter Safran. Like, guys, I'm still with him. I'm still, I'm still with Peter.
And then he's like getting loads of controversy for like talking
Oh
about
God,
Pfizer
yeah.
and stuff. Like, oh, good. This isn't a good idea before your movie comes
No,
out, my guy.
he's like Twitter. Like, I'll talk
Twitter
about my
is
opinion.
never
No,
share opinions on Twitter,
no, no,
everyone.
no. You'll get
Let it die.
cancelled. I would be like, I
I've
love my
I,
neighbor Totoro.
I
He's like, you what?
how dare you? You
How
offend
dare
me.
you?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Having said that, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, so I can't talk. Follow us on Twitter, everyone. I was talking about how much I like Rocky 5 the other day,
Oh yeah.
and people were like, "How dare you? Rocky 5 sucks." And I was like, "I like it."
Yeah, it's your opinion. I haven't watched it, so
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, that's what we do on the Out of Time Film Podcast. Respect.
Woo! Absolutely. Actually, I
That
have
sounded so weird. Like respect. Yes. Yes.
respect, lads.
Respect.
Outside Film Pod. Well, I do have some fun news. I have a friend who is working on a theme song for us. So hopefully,
Ooh.
anyone who's a returning listener, all three of you out there, coming back, you're gonna hear some music in here soon, which is gonna be
Yes.
really exciting.
It's gonna be really exciting. Yeah. Cannot wait to hear what she's cooking.
I've actually got something that I'll send you after the pod.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got one draft. I don't know,
Oh, a teaser. Mm,
a teaser.
It's like the Batman over again with Michael Giacchino. Just like,
Oh yeah, I've hired Michael Giacchino to write us a theme
oh
song.
my god! From director,
Whoa!
the director of Werewolf by Night. Oh, what? What?
From the
What?
director of
Wait.
Werewolf by Night comes the Out of Time Film Podcast.
Yes. Anyway,
Nice.
that is Shazam. That is
It's
what.
true. That is it.
Yes.
That's all of it.
That's all of it. Hope you thoroughly enjoyed us talking about it. We're completely crazy, but yeah, it do help us get us comments. please, please, we need comments, and we got
We,
spam emails. We
we
got
got so many spam emails recently. They called us Todd. Who's Todd?
Who's
Apparently, we're
Todd?
Todd now. Both
Oh
of
God.
us.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Todd. Good to see you, Todd.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.